Hello, everyone. We are Zev and Sarah, and we're thrilled to welcome you to our Leap Forward webinar. You've made a really great decision to get your success and goal momentum moving. We look forward to supporting your journey. Leap forward in the direction of your goals and aspirations.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and we are so glad that you are here today. We encourage you to ask any questions and to submit them to info@youramazingedge.com. We also encourage you to stay till the end because we have included some amazing opportunities for you and bonuses for you who want just a little bit more. We'll be covering 6 core principles today, and we would love to get your success journey on track.
So those six core principles are: you're not the sum total of your problems, playing to win, not playing to not lose, a growth mindset, personal branding, celebrate every success, and most importantly, decide. Decisions are really important. Now that we've set the stage and you know what to expect, let's dive into the heart of today's message: why discovering your amazing edge is not only possible, but it's essential for anyone who wants to leap forward. This isn't just another webinar, it's an opportunity to discover your amazing edge, your very important superpower, your own superpower. You've heard about that. The edge is inside everyone. We all have a superpower. We need to reach deep to unlock this amazing onboard power source, and it is powerful. Our amazing edge is born out of our challenges and adversity, and that those are unique to us. Like in The Wizard of Oz, the ruby slippers, she had it all the time. All she had to do was knock them together and gain access to the power that they had inside of them.
And speaking of the Wizard of Oz, have you ever felt like somebody else has everything going? Like they are the wizard behind the curtain, pulling all of the strings? Well, the actual Wizard of Oz was all smoke and mirrors. So we're talking about diving deep and finding your unique edge, which is real and which you will carry with you through life. So let's go beyond the smoke and mirrors for a bit. And so now this just isn't smoke and mirrors that we are teaching you. Let us show you who we are and what we are and why we are so passionate about helping you discover your own amazing edge.
So I'm Zev Halpern, and I've spent 30 years as an international relationship and personal development. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, an author, a podcast host, and co-founder of Your Amazing Edge, which we'll tell you about. I've directed behavioral health programs and human potential programs for business, schools, and community organizations. My work has always focused on helping people solve problems, individuals, groups, and communities
And
to, to solve their problems and reach their goals and potential.
and my background started actually in corporate roles in telecom, nonprofit, and finally in finance until I was diagnosed with a rare illness, and that caused me to reevaluate what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was psychology. So I've been working in the infidelity field specifically for the past 13 years, but I also have a very strong leadership background. And I wanted to pass the message along to you that we want to be the cheerleaders behind your success. There's a place for you in this world, and we want to find it. We've been working together collectively. The two of us have about 45 years of experience, and I am the other co founder of Your Amazing Edge.
So our paths are different, but both led us to one powerful belief: there's a place for everyone to thrive. And if you're here, chances are you're ready to step up to the plate. You're in the right place if you've been struggling or wanting to erase old habits that are holding you back. If you want to turn negative self talk into powerful, optimistic dialogue, remember what we throw into our brains has a great deal to do with what comes out in actions and behavior. If you want to set goals and create strategies to move forward and feel confident in pursuing your aspirations.
And have you ever noticed, Zeb, that sometimes we can be our own worst enemies?
Well, that's for sure.
Our mindset can sabotage us, sometimes because we're afraid of success. Sometimes we are afraid of what success will look like when others around us see us as successful. It sounds counterintuitive, but fear of the unknown, or how others will react to success, or how we will react to our own success, can keep us stuck. So you've probably heard of the tall tulip syndrome. Don't go true, don't grow too tall, otherwise you might just stand out. Some have actually internalized this feeling, especially if they were told this when they were growing up. Don't stand out. So if you've ever felt that, you are not alone.
It's like
And
you feel guilty, you feel guilty about, success. There's something to that. And there's millions of people who feel this way because they were brought up to feel that way. And it doesn't just stop. It continues.
it does. And speaking of standing out, let's talk about how adversity, yes, adversity can actually be the very thing that fuels your own unique edge. Zev and I wrote a book based on forging your own personal power from your own adversity. It's on Amazon and can be found at your favorite retailers.
It's called Discover Your Amazing Edge. But life has ups and downs, and I'm sure that's a huge understatement. I have experienced both. I survived a traumatic plane incident, which made me reevaluate everything in my life. What happened? uh, I was on a plane, and the plane actually, as it was taxiing down the runway, blew up. And we were forced, 55 of us, to literally jump out of the plane as fast as we could. And all of us, I'm sure, saw their life pass in front of us. I thought about my wife and my child and my family. And at that particular point, I was on my way to a business meeting, and I was thinking, oh my, I'm taking so much for granted in my family life. It was just so clear to me. We have moments of clarity. Well, I hope you don't have to have something like this happen for you to have moments of clarity, but I had one at that moment. And I realized that I really wanted to work specifically on a private practice basis with couples, and continue my other work in leadership and corporate mental health. Also, I suffered a devastating loss. My youngest daughter um, died in the fentanyl crisis, and I can't even begin to talk about it. It's too deep and too much. But we're all left with a choice. And at that point, that's where I met Sarah. Sarah reached out because we were in the same community pod on LinkedIn. And we decided, you know what, we both believe in helping people understand the meaning and purpose of their life. So we wrote the book, Discover Your Amazing Edge. And that has a great deal to do with what we've been doing since in all these human potential programs like this one, Leap Forward. Each of us have tragedies this tragedy could have broken me, but instead I channeled them. They became a source of strength. They became my edge, my superpower. It was unique to me. Your adversity, and you should really take this to heart. Your adversity is your hidden power source. It's the foundation of your future.
Right. And before I reached out to Zev, I also had my own close call with a teen who was suicidal. Now, this certainly doesn't compare to what Zev went through, but I could really feel with what he had been through. Now his situation was different than mine, in that his daughter was taken. That wasn't his choice. Whereas my child was trying to make a choice. And so I was trying to be the mom who was there for him. And when I saw that happen to Zev, I couldn't help but reach out. So our relationship really began on helping each other and finding meaning in these types of adversity. And by the way, a viewer has reached out and asked us a question already. Our viewer's name is Ted. Ted, thank you for tuning in today, and thanks for emailing us your question. We really appreciate that. So Ted says, I'm sorry that you two have been through so much. How do you dig deep inside yourself and overcome such large adversities? Oh, thanks, Ted. Zev, do you want to take that?
Sure. So basically, in the beginning, you're so confused and you're thrown, into this horrible pit, and you have to develop the rungs to climb out. And the rungs really, should be labeled choices, because it's all about the choices that you make. You can choose to be broken. You can choose to check out. Believe me, that seemed like a real easy path, at some of these points, because who has the strength to go forward? But for me, and I hope for you, Ted, life has to be meaningful and purposeful. And these are the kinds of things that make them meaningful and purposeful, because the truth is we're all humans and we face this. We don't know what's ahead. We don't know what we're going to face, and we have to be ready. And we'll talk about that a little later. But these life-shaking experiences, they shape us, but they don't define us. Some people make the mistake and they let them define them. Instead, they helped us discover tools for growth. Now we want to introduce you to the personal lab where your amazing transformation begins. Life is your personal learning lab. I don't know when in my life I all of a sudden realized that, but I had a lot of learning experiences, good and bad, and I realized, this is like a lab out here. Things happen, good and bad, medium, whatever. We have choices to make, decisions to make. Think about the inventors, that created these amazing things. Don't think that they hit it on the first time, because they didn't. They failed and they failed and they failed forward. So let's explore tools like mindset, courage, authority, and clarity. Your life's like a garden. You decide what you want to plant, how to cultivate it, and when to bloom. And if it doesn't grow, then you can try again. It certainly happened to me. I can tell you this year my tomatoes didn't do well, so I did try again, and they're coming along.
And speaking of blooming, if some of you out there are late bloomers, like I was, it's okay to be a late bloomer. Some people grow up being told what to do, never discovering what they truly love. This comes from our family of origin. And if that's you, it's time to actually listen to your heart, dig deep, and to give yourself permission to listen to what it is you want rather than what others have told you want. Maybe you want music, maybe you want art, maybe you are a natural at entrepreneurship. Whatever it is, I want you to honor it. And let's show you that that's really the way to start blooming, is to honor who you are. So we have steps in between, and one of those steps is stepping stones. So once you begun blooming, you'll need these things that we call stepping stones to keep moving forward with confidence.
Just imagine, you could walk into a store and, just like sports equipment or things that you might need, and you could go into the store and just pick out the stepping stones that you need. What would you choose? Courage? That would help you. Resilience, humility, persistence. These are all the pieces that move you past your comfort zone. And you know all about that comfort zone. And our way is a little different. Sarah and I really believe, that people don't have to be scared out of their minds to move out of their comfort zones. Sure, it's something you have to do individually, but you can do it with support, and you can do it at ease, and you can do it a little bit at a time. You don't have to jump. You're not at the top of the building. You don't have to jump off the cliff. Do it with support. You can still get to this other side, and you can get to the places that you're trying to get to.
And this reminds me, when you speak of stepping stones, this reminds me of a time in my life, in my late 20s, when I was going through a very difficult season. It seemed like love life, career life, everything was ever changing and up in the air. And during that time, a song by the country singer Larry White called Stepping Stones came out. And I will tell you that I clung to that message for dear life. I must have listened to that song hundreds of times because it would pull me out of that funk. And she would say, this isn't a stumbling block. It's just a stepping stone. And I'm going to climb right up on top and take a good look at where I'm going. So these stepping stones can actually be platforms from which we rise. Any stone you ever see in your path is really a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. So please remember that.
So look, make sure that you take a look at this, at your stepping stones. What do you need? What is it that you need to move forward? Now, what's the next thing you'll need as you walk across the pond, on these carefully selected stepping stones that are very unique to you. So that brings us to the first principle, which are you're not the sum total of your problems. Look, challenges shape us, but they don't define us. And let's just talk about that powerful truth. I'll say it again. You are not the sum total of your problems. You may not be able to prevent these rough situations, but the one thing you still have left is choice. How do you respond? How do you respond to adversity? Let go of some of that baggage you don't need anymore. Travel lighter. Some people just go up the mountain, with 400 pounds of old childhood baggage. And at some point in our lives, we have to realize that we left childhood and that some of the things we learned there are not very helpful on this journey. And they were helpful back then, and we have to let them go, and we have to develop new ones. So that's really, so let go of this 400 pounds on your back and just let it fall off.
And don't be like Sisyphus from Greek mythology, where you're pushing that stone, or your baggage rather, up that mountain just to tumble back down again and again. So some people feel shame around their problems. And this is why we talk about the idea that you are not the sum total of your problems. What these problems are is they are really experiences. So if you can reframe them as experiences that you've been through rather than problems, this is going to get you ahead very quickly. You can learn from experiences, you can grow from experiences, and you can actually move forward from experiences. And therefore, these so-called problems can no longer define your worth when you reframe them as experiences. And once you separate from your problems, or yourself from those so-called problems, success starts to feel very real. So let's explore what it feels like to taste success. So tasting success is like reaching the mountaintop after a very long climb. It's the moment when your vision becomes a reality, and it's deeply personal. Success is built from your clarity, your focus, and especially from your persistence.
So let's keep going on our principles and talk about the next one, which is a mindset shift. Are you playing to win, or you're just playing not to lose? two very different creatures.
Yeah. And so playing to win versus playing not to lose. These are two entirely different mindsets, and they come from opposite directions. That's why we want to clarify this. When you're playing to win, you're operating from a place of positivity, vision, and purpose. When you're pushing yourself forward because you believe in what is possible, you're aiming for the goal, not just avoiding failure. But when you're playing not to lose, you're stuck in fear mode. Do you want to talk more about that fear mode that people get stuck in,
Yeah, I
Zev?
mean, fear can be a short-term motivator. Look, ever been scared before? Well, what do? Run, or do something, hide. Our bodies are wired. We are biologically wired to respond to fear. It can be a short-term motivator, but it's not a long-term engine for success. We can't let fear drive the bus. Your energy goes towards avoiding mistakes instead of creating progress. Think about that. Avoiding mistakes instead of creating progress. That's why we want to lead with courage and intention. Believe that you're going to win. Think on a winning mindset. Believe that you have what it takes to overcome life's challenges. And they're going to come at you, and they're going to keep coming at me as well. Commit to never giving up until you reach your goals. And I know that's easy for me to say, and it's not so easy to do, but I've been in the same place. So I stepped into my own power, and I realized that these are choices you have to make, and it's up to you. And this winning mindset, it's deeply rooted in the next principle. Let's talk about this internal belief system that fuels consistent progress, no matter the obstacles. Let's talk about growth mindset. Adopt the mindset of I deal with what transpires. Think about it. A lot transpires in a day, a week, a month, years, and we never know when something good or something really challenging is going to transpire on us. And as you climb towards your goals, hey, you're going to face discouragement. You'll feel like failure at times, but here's the truth. Failure is a forward motion. Yeah, it throws you back, and maybe it throws you on your ass, but you got to learn to fail forward and put those two words into a new vocabulary that you're using. I'm going to fail forward, meaning I'm going to keep trying. Pause, please. Recharge, please recharge. Then recognize your growth as you break through barriers and challenges. You're the hero in this story. You're the one we're talking to. We think of you as heroes. A growth mindset fuels the hero's journey. It's about embracing what emerges, knowing you have the capacity to handle it. And again, some of the greatest achievers that you've ever heard about, that you've read about, that people talk about, they faced countless failed attempts before their breakthroughs. One of my favorite quotes is from a visionary, Buckminster Fuller. And he said, there are no failed experiments, only experiments with unintended outcomes. I'll say it again. There are no failed experiments, only experiments with unintended outcomes. That is an amazing mindset to have and liberating.
And speaking of Buckminster Fuller, I know many of you have probably seen the geodesic domes. They were especially popular in the 70s and the 80s because they were earthquake proof. Well, Buckminster Fuller was the inventor of the geodesic dome and
many other things.
And many other things, but that came from him observing the bubbles that came up on a lake. This is how So he wasn't even, this was one of his unintended experiments. He was simply observing how the bubbles came up on a lake when he was out on a boat. And he noticed that certain things didn't make them burst, how they could stand on their own. And he translated that to architecture, and that created an earthquake proof home. And that's one of the things that he's known for. But let's go back to growth mindset. So it's not something that you turn on and off. It's something you need to fold into your daily routine, and it's actually a lifelong mental shift that you're going through. So, stagnation stops progress, and a growth mindset keeps you going at any age. Whether you're 18 or 80, you need to stay in that growth mindset where you are evolving and succeeding. And by the way, we've got another viewer question. I wanted to thank you, Janet, for sending this question in. Janet asks, I'm close to retirement age and want to reinvent myself. Maybe you can give me some ideas on how to do this.
Wow. Janet, thanks for asking this question because it's such an important question. There's people who are reaching what you just quote unquote retirement age. And, sometimes retirement age is when you die. If you choose, if all of a sudden you don't reinvent some way to keep on moving and keep yourself in and develop your own amazing routine. But you've defined yourself as retirement age, and I would say throw the definitions away, throw the issue of age away. Um, you're who you are. You're all the experiences. You're the sum of all the experiences you've had in your life, good and bad, and you have something to give people. And there's a certainly a spot for you, and it's worth trying to figure out. Maybe visualize and ask yourself the question, what do I want? What do I want to do? And how might I get there? And dream a little. Imagine, use that amazing thing we have, imagination. And think of yourself as being, and, keep it in the possible and get busy and, and just start. When you just start and you stop overthinking, things start getting busy and moving. So I say thank you, Janet, and get busy moving to your next role.
Right. Thank you, Janet. So once we adopt our growth mindset, the next question becomes how do we present that evolving, empowered version of ourselves to the world? So that brings us to personal branding.
So that's our next principle, personal branding. I mean, it's a big deal. We hear the word branding, it kicks around a lot, but literally, personal branding is what people see, feel when you're walking into the room. You have the power to mold your personal or product brand and make it shine. This isn't about crafting some kind of image. It's about bringing together the best parts of your personality and your purpose and presenting them authentically and powerfully. Your brand, believe me, tells people who you are, what you stand for, what they can expect from you, and why you get out of bed in the morning. So think about, why do you get out of bed in the morning? What do you stand for? What do you want people to think when they see you walk into the room? And what are they going to expect from you? You're your brand's author. It's all in your hands. You can redirect if you accept and say, this is my brand today. Hey, brands change. You can redirect it and you can evolve it at any time. A well curated brand becomes a natural expression of your amazing edge.
And mastering personal branding starts with clarity and consistency. Get clear on your values, who you serve, and the unique value that you offer. Then align your message across every touch point, whether it's LinkedIn, your website, or how you show up in a meeting and in real life. It's not about being everywhere, It's about showing up on purpose with confidence and authenticity where it counts the most. And this brings us to our next topic, which is celebrating every success. Now that you're owning your story and showing up with confidence, what happens when the wins start coming in? Let's talk about how we celebrate them.
It's really important, and this is something that we're not taught, unfortunately. We advance, we move through. Maybe we have big encouragers and cheerleaders, or maybe we have nothing. So if it starts with you and you celebrate every little tiny success that you make as you advance to your goals, it's so important to do that. It's confirmatory. It validates your sweat equity and all the things that you're trying to do, and it just results in kind of filling you up with positivity. And I know positivity is a word people throw around, but it doesn't change it. More positivity in your life and in your brain means more positivity in what comes out in your actions and behaviors. It doesn't happen, overnight. But stop and celebrate your wins as they come, even the tiny ones. Sounds simple. I understand. It's hard to do alone. It's easy to retreat or procrastinate. Oh, I didn't accomplish enough. I accomplished something, big deal. We minimize. Don't minimize. Um, but important to this is community support, encouragement. You need to find mentors, and you need to find people who are in your corner and who are there for you when all of a sudden some revolving door has you going the wrong way, and you need to be straightened out and moved because you've already come so far. You're almost there, and what a waste it would be if you didn't follow through.
Right. And every success, no matter how small, deserves recognition. Now, why is that? It's because small wins are actually the building blocks of some of the biggest breakthroughs in your life. When we pause to acknowledge even the simplest victories, we start to rewire our minds and see progress instead of lack. This is very important to see progress instead of.
Progress instead of lack. Very important.
Yes. And so that might mean sending that tough email, showing up on a hard day, completing a hard project that you put off. But each success builds more motivation and resilience that you can use in your future rather. And here's the best part. When we celebrate others' wins, we foster a culture of encouragement, value, and momentum.
And I would also add to this, hashtag getting things done. It's kind of an interesting hashtag. It's something I've adopted, and it's really helped me a tremendous amount. I just think about those words, hashtag getting things done. By the way, it's used a lot. I've seen it out there. I've seen people use it. But what it means is that get it done. I had many things to do this week, and I'm really happy and somewhat celebrating that I actually got them done. This has been a very, very busy week all around, and for Sarah and I, it's been extremely busy. And
Yeah,
so,
and that brings us to another important point in terms of making the shift. After celebrating your wins, you have to do something that many of us avoid, and that is simply decide.
decide. I mean, this is the final principle that we're going to deal with today. Decide. Decisions. They're hard. A lot of people go, I'm not really good at making decisions. Well, this is something we have to step into, and we have to own them, and we have to do them. And okay, if they don't work out, you're still living. That means you still have a chance to get through. Don't look at other people and try to compare yourself. Just keep on, following your path that you've decided to take. Because when you make a decision, it says something. It says it's a personal message to you. It's a vibration. It goes through you. It means I have to follow through. Um, it's easy to make vague, breakable New Year's resolutions. We've all done it. Real growth requires firm, intentional decision making. I'm going to do this. I'm going to invest in my success. I'm going to find the guidance and support I need if I have to. That's why Sarah and I created our 7-week deep dive masterclass, Pure Success, to make the decision easier, more actionable, and supported. And it's nothing that we haven't done ourselves. In our own personal journeys, we've reached out for help, and thank goodness for it.
Right. And when we make that decision, here's another important point. We don't want to quietly revert to procrastination, self-doubt, and we definitely don't want to revert to old patterns. But when you invest in yourself wholeheartedly, you start to create accountability and alignment with your dreams. Let's stop breaking the promises to ourselves. Let's decide to move forward together. And it looks like we have another viewer question from Josh. Josh asks, I have to admit that I am not the most decisive person, and being able to make decisions kind of holds me back. Do you have any tips on how to be a better decision maker?
I think it starts with making sure that you don't overthink. Overthinking is stinking. It just is. Overthinking is stinking. All it does is ruin dreams and aspirations. We can think ourselves into a craziness, and I think it's really important that you turn this into things about your daily routine. That when you change your daily routine, and you start like taking actions and doing some things and not thinking about what could be, what will be, what might be, what'll never be, and all that, that all of a sudden things start to move in a different direction. And I even would tell you, visualize, look at it, see it like this. People in sports visualize. They see that ball going over the fence before they ever hit the ball. A lot of them see themselves over that pole vault. They're over that bar before they ever stick that stick in the pit. So very important. And Josh, you can do this. I mean, it's a great question. A lot of people are challenged with this, and you just have to decide and get some help. Get some support so people can help you make some decisions.
And what does that look like in practice? We do have an answer, and I wanted to bring Pure Success to your attention.
Pure Success, is a program that Sarah and I developed. It's basically a transformational journey, helps you break through limitations, the kinds of limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves or that people have, messaged us to believe. Gain unshakable clarity. We need clarity. We need to remove the obstacles from the road. When we remove the obstacles from the road, the view is like a lot clearer. And we need to step fully into life and leadership and what you were meant for. What were you meant for? These are questions you can ask yourself. It's fair. Whatever's happened to you in this life, even if you're feeling downtrodden, and that it's never going to work out, everybody else succeeds and I don't, whatever that attitude is, let's move you into a different thing. Over 7 powerful weeks, you'll master habits, mindset, and strategy and drive sustainable, authentic success without burnout, with a little self-doubt, but we're going to knock your self-doubt out and turn it into deal with what emerges. And you're going to become one of those people that recognizes the lab that's out there, and you're going to deal with things as they come at you. Whether you're launching something new, navigating change, or stepping into your next level, because we love helping people get to their next level. Pure Success will give you the tools, structure, and coaching, personally by Sarah and I, not by anybody else. It'll be by yours truly and Sarah, and we'll make it real.
Absolutely. And this is your moment. This truly is your moment. Success should not feel like hustle and stress. It should feel powerful and purposeful to you. And we want to actually make that happen together. We would love for you to join us. And one of the foundations of this journey is our book. We've mentioned it before, which is Born from Our Own Transformations. And it's yours for free if you sign up for the Pure Success program. And let's introduce our book.
We told you a little earlier about the book, and here it is, and this is the hardcover version. It's available on Amazon and hardcover, softcover, and Kindle. And as Sarah said, we are so happy to give you a free copy when you join our Pure Success package. This book is a collaboration that grew from challenge, courage, and a commitment to helping others rise.
Right. And good collaborations actually move you forward. Discover Your Amazing Edge isn't just another leadership book. It's a call to become your boldest and authentic self. It combines some very deep insight and practical tools to help align you and your actions with your own purpose, overcome any doubts that you may feel, lead with impact, and whether you're running a company, managing a team, or just trying to transform your own personal life. So we wanted to offer you something else, and that is a clarity call.
That's how you start. I mean, sometimes really it all comes down to one powerful conversation that we have with somebody. And we encourage you to sign up for a clarity call. We'd like to hear about your unique challenges. We want to know what's blocking you. We want to help spark a breakthrough for you, take you to the next step forward. It's your personal life. Is it your career, your leadership? Is it all of them? This is your time. This is your time. And book the call. Ask about our bonus rate for attending today. Anyone who attended today's webinar will get a significant bonus on the total Pure Success program. Let today be the day you stop waiting and you start moving to your next level.
Right. And like the woman in the slide, come on into our sailboat. It's a luxury yacht in terms of accelerating everything that you want to be and who you want to be. We wanted to thank you for being here today, for investing your time in yourself, and for being open to discovering your amazing edge with us.
And we look forward to connecting with you very soon. Thanks again for being here. Take good care. Follow your dreams.